Reprogramming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grumler. Wolverine. You missed that music, didn't you?
God, I really did. I was like, cool, we're going to do this new thing. But when you pump it in, dude, it just sounds good.
It's good.
It is good.
I don't know. Should I try something quicker start time? But nah, that's not it.
Nah.
That's not it. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. We are going to reprogram the 2023 semifinals. We did this for did we do it for open and quarters for the individuals? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we did.
Or did you just do it for quarterfinals?
No, I think we did it. We did it for all of them.
Did we do it for all of them?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember, God, I should pull up what we did. Somewhere. We have it somewhere. If you guys are...
It's on there.
It's on there.
Yeah, go find it.
It's on there. What's up, everybody? Stefan, Melanie, David, Eduardo. Oh, if you guys missed our episode of analyzing the programming, Bailey.
9-foot wall balls.
Yeah. Bailey, 9-foot wall ball walker. We had Brian Friend on the show. We analyzed the programming of the 2023 semifinals. We've got a lot of great conversation going on YouTube. If you guys want to jump into comments, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, depending on who you are and what you bring to the table. It's been interesting.
Did we get... No, I don't know if I bumped it or something. Did we get more comments on that one than other videos that we've had? I feel like comments have been all over the place on that one.
Yes. I don't know. Yes. And the comments have been all over the place, but I don't know if it's the Brian Friend effect or people just wanted us to do this episode, but
well, I think the semis,
it's a lot of views on that one.
Yeah. There were. I think there was so much expectation for the semis.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of things that happened. And so there's a lot of points you could take if you want. So there were a lot of opportunities for people to make comments about, for sure.
Yeah, it was great. It was a super fun, long discussion. It could have been longer, honestly. I know Bill and I were on like shot clocks, and we went a little bit over those shot clocks anyways. But yeah, we're going to reprogram the individual competition for the 2023 semifinals based off the analyzing that we did I believe on Tuesday, some of our own personal likes and dislikes. You know, there's certain things that Bill enjoys doing that are different than what I enjoy doing. And you'll get a little flavor of both. Every once in a while, we end up programming the same thing without even talking to each other, which could be annoying. It could be cool. Depends on how you look at it. But before we get there, we want to thank our partner of the show, Bubs Naturals. Go to bubsnaturals.com. Use the code that would be wrong. GWTP 20 for 20% off. I think you need a Bubs order coming in. Is that right?
I just got it today, dude.
Hey, look at that timing.
Today. And there's something new in there that I have never tried.
What is it?
The Bubs Hydrate.
Oh, you got some of that. I got that. I've tried. I got some of that from at one of the semifinals.
Yeah.
Which I need, because living in Texas and working out in the heat over the years, and I don't know if this is an age thing, but like I would cramp at night so bad in my feet and my calves.
Yeah. And
I just need to replenish. And I drink a lot of water. I don't want to say that. I don't drink enough water, but I don't not drink water. if that makes sense.
Everything that I drink has water in it.
True. And the thing is, like, dude, I don't know if this, again, I know I can't really use the age thing with you, but I'm going to anyway.
You really can't.
I drink coffee past like noon these days. I can't go to bed.
Dude, come on.
You are a unicorn of fitness and caffeine consumption. Let's just put that on the table right now. Anything fitness related, you can't speak to as far as age is concerned. Anything caffeine related. If you guys don't know this, this is the best. And we're either at games or we're in like Dubai or something, or any competition.
It doesn't matter where it is.
We would be walking back from the venue. We'd have late night production meetings, and it might be 9 or 10 at night. And Bill will find a Starbucks and get coffee, drink it at night while studying for the next day, and then fall asleep as if he was drinking like
water.
Night.
It's like a warm cup of milk, you know? Just sleep.
But okay, have you tried it yet? Do you like it?
I just got it. I haven't like the box just showed up. I was coaching, the box showed up, and I just was like this. Yes.
Yeah. But
so and I got some of the dark roast coffee, my favorite.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's very good. So if you guys go to bubsnaturals.com, if you drink coffee at all, there's no reason for you not to go there. Because not only do you get the MCT oil powder, whether it's the original or the new creamer, which is still MCT oil powder, it's just a different style, or the collagen protein that you put in your coffee, which everybody needs anyways, and it doesn't affect the taste of your coffee or coffee itself, of which they sell there, and this new Rehydrate electrolyte powder that you can put in your water that you should be drinking with your coffee. You should probably do like a 1-for-1, like if you're at the bar. One cup of coffee, 1 glass of water.
I would do that.
But all of those things you can get at one site in one place, and you can get 20% off everything every time by using the code GWTP20. So do that.
Do it.
Do it. But other things, this is Stefan. We need to get with the Programming Rich Running podcast collab. Yeah. We have some of the same sentiments.
Yeah.
And some of the people that have issues with some of our sentiments, I don't see you commenting on that page. Talk shit to Rich, unless you guys think you can talk shit to us if we don't know anything of what we're talking about.
I have to say this. So I think it's really cool that Rich is that they're back on their podcast and he's doing a lot of talking, which is good. I feel like the more issue he has with either the programming or certain comments or whatever, his hat gets lower and lower and lower and lower to where you barely even see his face anymore. It's just like a shadow, and then his beard and his hat. It's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. Yeah, it's good. I love their format. I mean, really, like if we could do something like that in person, that's exactly what I would want it to look like.
Totally.
Sitting in the same room, camera cuts. You got Rich Froning, Roy McKernan, Angelo DeChico, like just it's a good group of dudes just talking about really whatever they want to talk about from time to time. So it's fairly entertaining. I think they're doing a good job there. Doing a good job. All right, Bill, your beard gets darker too.
Is that mine or is that Rich's? I think that's Rich's.
Oh, maybe his beard is. Yeah, he has a good beard. You know who would play a great King Leonidas in a 300 remix?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, movies can always make you look taller too. Like he's got the muscle. It's not a shot. It's just, it's just numbers. Yeah, it's just facts. I still love him. It's a good dude. Great dude. I ran into him. I don't know if I told you this. I ran into him, Roy McKernan, and Adrian Bosman in the airport in Orlando after the semifinals, like Sunday night after the semifinals, the first week.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, the whole Mayhem crew was there just chilling. They're all flying into Nashville, so obviously Boz was on board.
Yeah.
It was great. But all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to retool the 2023 semifinals based off the analyzing that we did, which was an episode ago. If you guys haven't listened to that, don't leave, but go listen and then come back and listen to this again. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. If you guys have concerns, if you have problems, drop them in the chat. We'll talk. We'll have a nice conversation about why we feel the way we feel. And at the end of the day, is which we always say is this, though we speak matter-of-factly because of our, I don't want to say years of experience, but
you could say years of experience. We got experience in this stuff. We got experience in this stuff. Yeah. That's all right.
Things that we obsess about, things that we love.
Still an opinion.
Still an opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? So if you guys have a differing opinion, we respect that. We respect that as well. So we enjoy the back and forth. But we'll go through our events and we'll post them up on our, we'll talk about them all here. We'll post them all up for our Patreon, our Programatrons. We're producing our, if you guys aren't following us on patreon.com, it's an easy way to put a tip in the tip jar. That's the easiest way. You guys, that support goes a long way for us. It's just a cool way to keep us going. It's a neat way to give you guys a little bit more on the back end. So if you guys go to patreon.com/get with the programming, we'll release a workout a week just for you guys. I think I just posted yours, Bill. Oh, by the way, you guys stop posting your workout videos with the background music in. We have gotten
I know
strikes because of those goddamn videos.
Shit, I know. Well, and I forgot on those ones too.
I was like, why?
I'll fix that.
I was like, I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I love seeing you actually do what you're programming. Like that's, I think, a great addition. Like your videos are way cooler than mine. I'm just like talking at a whiteboard. Do this. These are the scales. Have fun. And you're like, no, I did this shit. Like I've done most of the things that I program too. I just didn't video them. So your videos are great. But for $6 a month, guys, you'll barely notice. You'll barely notice. Sign up, support the show more than you guys already do by just being here. We do appreciate that. But we'll collect both of our semifinal retools and we'll post them for you guys to take, to test, to try, and to maybe repurpose on your own at a later date. So if you guys aren't doing that, it'd be great if you guys jumped on there with us. All right. Will, thanks, Will. Anyone who disagrees is an idiot.
You're stupid because you're dumb.
Your dumb face. Okay, so let's do this. I know we always like, do we go 1 for 1 all the way through?
I'd say 1 for 1.
1 for 1? All right.
Yeah.
Bill, do you want to do Age Before Beauty? No? All right, cool.
All right.
You are up early, sir.
Yeah.
Like 5 in the morning?
It was so good to hear his voice during the semis.
Man, by the way,
you did a great job, dude. You did a great job.
Shout out to Jeremy Austin, who like stayed up at night or got up really early to feed in from Australia for the semifinal podcast. That was really cool.
That was cool. All right. Yeah, do that. Smash the like button. Okay. So whenever we do these retools, I there's always like a jump forward and a scramble back all the time because what we want to do is try not to completely uproot what was done, but see what sort of small tweaks we can do and what we've seen is we've done small tweaks and we've had drastic, which we think would be improvements to the overall test of whatever's happening. There are a lot of times where it is, I want to scrap this entire thing, but there's a lot of me moving back and forth. So I may on some of these events say, here's what we do for the easy tweak, but this is the way I'd want to do it.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
I like that.
All right, so for the first one, I really liked the first event. The only thing that I did not like, well, there are 2 things about the first event that I didn't like, and it had to do with the sled. I didn't like the fact that it was that cloth thing, that became a hiccup instead of showcasing people's fitness, they were showcasing whether they were able to handle the equipment or not, or whether they had a foul up in the equipment.
Okay.
So what I would choose to do on that is if they wanted some small, low profile sort of setup, they have those skid plates. It's just the plate, no big dog sled. Yeah, one of those kind of things. Yeah. Have that be the sled. But what I would do is it would only be pulled one direction, so it isn't a back and forth and back. I didn't like the turnarounds that they had to do. It's a straight shot that they would have to pull, and that's really the only change that I would make to that one. Okay. I loved what it was. The machines, fine. I knew we were going to have machines in there. Is what it is. And I think with the only thing that we talked about in that event was the sled itself. So that would be my fix on that to improve that.
Okay. I like that. Simple. I think the thing we try to do our best is have a very low, I would say, I don't know if this is even the right term now, like a low carbon footprint on changing too much stuff.
Right.
Too much stuff. And I'm with you too. I really, really, really liked event 1. I like that it was long. I liked the machine work, and I really loved the impact that the sled had on the test and that back and forth, which is why it sucked so much that carpet sled was such a problem,
right?
Or it was the only thing that we talked about.
Yep.
And the thing that sucks the most when I see a lot of these things happen, like, I mean, go through the list of things that we have talked about over the last 2 years that are nothing revolving around the competition itself. Shuttle runs, leaderboard, scoring. I'm like, it would be nice to just talk about events again.
Right.
Instead of like stupid bullshit that could have been avoided barring, I mean, whatever. So I like that you left that untouched.
You didn't.
I touched a little bit more. I got my hands all over this one. And I'll preface this as I go through my events is that that was the first thing I changed. I changed every test to an event.
Okay, good. I like that. That's a good call. No such thing
blow. Yes, that's the first thing I did is change the word test to event. Yeah, no such thing as a world record. It's just an event record. I think Rich talked about that a lot. Which they're not wrong. I mean, it's
exactly.
But some of the things I changed is that you talked about trickle down effect or trickle effect is that if I do something in event 1, I need to make sure that I make up for it by event 7. And that includes like machine stuff. So obviously I put mine on a, can I pull a screen? I just have it typed up. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
All right.
I didn't type mine up, so.
I know. I just, I'm not trying to be like, hey, I did this. All right. So here's what I did. I took out the Echo bike and replaced it with a Concept 2 bike. I took out the Air Runner and put in a rower. So it's a C2 endurance test with sled pulls. And I switched meters to cals, which is always a point of contention for some people because they have more of an impact on racing than they do pacing. So it's a 125 cal bike, same distance sled pull. I didn't change the distances just because that would have required me like floor plan changing. So in a perfect world like you were talking about, I would have always preferred a straight pull like you were talking about. So that's kind of like your side caveat.
Yeah.
I put it on a piece of equipment that should be uniform on any surface anywhere in the world. And for a hand-over-hand pull, I put in the torque tank. Why? I'll explain a little bit later down the road. On top of that, I made everything a pure hand-over-hand pull. So you can only do what we know to be a hand-over-hand pull, which is just pull, hand over hand, over hand, over hand, not a reach and tug. That's not a hand-over-hand pull. I agree. That's just a sled pull. So I made everything focus on a hand-over-hand pull, but every new length, we added a 45-pound plate. Because the torque tank can be a bit more uniform and a bit more steady, and it comes to grip and shoulder and arm fatigue. So I wanted to get more difficult and more difficult and more difficult. So as it stands, 125 cal bike, 84-foot sled torque tank pull with 180 and 225. 100 cal row, 84-foot torque tank pull with an extra plate. 75 cal ski, and then a 92-foot torque tank with an extra plate. Everything must be hand-over-hand pulls.
Are you turning the torque tank around?
No, you just unclip it and put it on the other end.
Okay.
Yeah. So some, accuracy. I'm just kidding. Before someone's like, what the fuck?
I like the setup of the machines better.
It's a lot of changes.
There are a lot of changes. I would have said hand over hand with the sled. I would have said hand over hand anyway, only, not the big lurching pulls, not the. Plus, it said hand over hands pull anyway, so that should be. I mean it's in the title. It's in what it is. So I
figured JR would like the cows.
I know he would. I knew he would. But I like that setup though.
C2 work. It's all cal work. It's all hand over hand pull, and it's using a sled implement that is uniform to the best of its ability in a sled pull. Now, I wouldn't do it for pushes. I like it for an isolated pull. I think it's better suited in that format.
All right, let me ask you. So one of the big complaints about the torque tank is there's no benefit to going faster. So is it just a time piece, or what are you doing? How do you see that as like if I'm stronger than you, I can make the sled go faster. But like with the torque tank, it's kind of like there's only.
So it's not that you can go faster, but your sustainability is better. Your stamina is better. So I would burn out because I'm weaker than you. Right? Okay. It's not necessarily faster, it's sustainability. And I don't think that's right, AM Fitness. Like weight adds like weight to the thing. Like pushing a 1,000-pound car on the same chassis and wheel system is easier than pushing a 5,000 pound car on the same chassis and wheel system.
Well, no, I'm not disagreeing with your.
No, I'm just talking to AM Fitness's comment.
Oh, got it. Right. It would change. It would change the weight of what you're pushing. And the reason I was asking that is because that was one of the big complaints with the torque tank, and the last couple of years we've been using it a lot, mostly as pushes more than pull. In fact, I don't think did we even pull it at all. I think it was only pushing.
At Granite Games, they did a backwards pull.
Oh, okay.
But it was a back pedal pull.
Got it. And that the whole thing with that we were seeing was it made no sense to really go at it on the torque tank, because the way the gearing was, the way that right. setup was, the dampener right. on that only let you go so fast.
Right. And so you can't go faster. You can just sustain the pace better. So if you're stronger, if you have a better upper body pulling strength and stamina, you can pull that better than someone who doesn't. Right? You're not going to go faster. You'll just be able to do it longer. At least that's how I see it.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Spin. Dude, get out of here right now with your comment.
Machine, please. Yeah. Don't worry. We'll get there.
All right, cool.
Okay. Event number 2.
I know that this was one of the events that in our last podcast, there was a lot of comments when you made a statement about the AMRAP versus a total rep count. And as much as I hear what you're saying on that, what I really looked at this, I think the thing that hung this event up is not the fact that if someone does more work that they're doing more damage to themselves necessarily, but that the intent with the rucksack, it didn't do what I felt it should have done. I think it missed the point of doing that. These are short sprints. There's 3 minutes of work, and you want the athletes to be able to go all out. And you start off with that complex, which first of all, the complex needs to be unbroken, because that's what a complex is.
Okay.
And with that little bit lighter weight, that will allow the athletes to push that. I mean, what I would like to see is that you'd have the opportunity for more of these athletes to do more reps of those unbroken, more complexes unbroken, to get them out to where they can do the burpee box jump overs, for the more reps. I think what I would do now is leave the pistols as they were. Did they have to do 5 and 5? Is that what it was? 5, 5, 5, 5?
Yes.
Okay, I would do 10 and 10. 10 on one leg, 10 on the other leg, have to be unbroken.
Oh, okay.
And then it's all out to see who can get the top number. You add up all of the points together, of course, but you end that round with max reps of the burpee box jump overs. I would make the box jump over a little bit higher though, so I would bump it up like maybe 4 inches or so on both.
Okay.
Just to give it a little bit, to slow it down just a touch. So that it's not just a buzzsaw event, but that way you have the lighter athletes are able to do the gymnastic-y things. They have that little aspect, but then they're going to have to face a little bit more of a height issue. And then the bigger athletes, they're going to struggle more with the body weight stuff. And then they get to have a slight advantage to the box jump element. So you add up all the points, and that's what you get your total score from. But still same time frame, still same movements for the most part, minus that ruck, and then go from there.
Okay, so still 4 reps.
I'm going to go, 4 reps.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeremy's question. Was the complex a cop-out with breaking it up?
It was just dumb.
I would say yes. I mean, based off, and here's the thing, there were so many verbiage inconsistencies, like hand over hand pull, complex, unbroken, and like none of them were.
I mean, I think if in the situation that you're handed, and they're not saying that you have to do a complex the way a complex is designed to be unbroken, then it's not that it's a cop-out. It's a strategic move. It's kind of like when you do the 11th deadlift in DT,
Yeah.
or 11 deadlifts, and then you do one deadlift into your hang clean. Right. So I mean, I think they're kind of playing the game. Within the confines of the rules that they're given, but I don't think that shouldn't even be given. Like that shouldn't have even been allowed. Like if someone was to ask that question, could you break up the complex? I'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you? No, you can't.
All right. Okay. So I did similar to what you did. So number one, I took the ruck out of it completely. And this is why I put in the torque tank, is because I can only assume that the ruck has some type of partnership responsibility or deal there, and you would get the same thing for the torque tank. So I took the ruck out completely. I put in the torque tank so you didn't lose something. I was thinking really businessy there.
You were.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that at all.
All right. I scrapped the ruck. I did 7 unbroken ring complexes, 1 complex itself of a toes to bar muscle up ring dip. That is unbroken, not 7 in a row. Into 30 pistols, 10 on one leg, 10 on the other, 5 and 5. Unbroken as in if your foot comes down within the set, you must start all the way over, because that's what we did at the CrossFit Games. So these athletes are fully capable in understanding that we have to do that here at semifinals, because that's how it works.
100%.
And then I did max burpee box jump overs in the time remaining of those 3 minutes. Now, I didn't change the height at all, but what I did is that I put a 4-time 50 burpee box jump overs. So now you have an incentive to be done faster, and then possibly, which I've added reps in the beginning, even though I took the ruck off. I'm not sure if people could get 50 in 2 rounds, but they could almost get it. Like, we're forcing them to try to get it, because if you come too short, you have to do all of that work again. So it's for time. The for time works just like any type of for time element with a time cap. So you either have a time or you have total reps completed. So every rep you do is going to count. Every complex is going to count as 1. Every pistol is going to count as 1. Every burpee box jump you do is going to count as 1. So if you don't get to 50, you will still have total reps completed, but all of those will be less than the times where people did complete the sets. And with a little nerdy nuance here, 7 ring complexes times 3 reps is 21, 30 pistols is 15 on each leg, and then you got the burpee box jump overs. So it's like a 21-15 and then go.
Look at you.
Hey. So.
I
mean, you can, but
I don't think you could on this.
I don't think it helps because it's 50.
Because it's enough that you could just get in there on that second.
60? Like, could someone send round 1, do 5 reps in round 2, and then send it again? I don't know. It's
I think if they were scored as individual rounds, then yeah, you could do a Pat Barber. I don't think you'd do it on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep. Scrap the ruck. I added 2 complexes because we took the ruck off. I mean, there's people doing this unbroken all the way through. And the reason why some people got stuck is only because of the ruck. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Added 10 more pistols because I think we needed more squatting. So I put in a little bit more volume, and then I set that cap number at 50 to encourage people to send it and try to get that time.
You'll see why I didn't think.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Event 3.
Event 3. Which one is it? Oh, this is the Linda. It's dumbbell Linda.
Okay.
Same set of dumbbells on all 3 movements.
Oh.
So here's what you're doing. Your deadlift is with 90 pounds or 180 and 120. So 90s and 60s.
Right.
You carry them to the bench. You do bench press. You carry them to off the bench, and then you do your hang squat cleans. Or your power. What are those? Squat cleans. Yeah, not hang cleans. Yeah.
Did you make him
this
on the ground?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yay, this is better. And then you're like, oh, this still sucks. And you're like,
this is better.
Oh my God.
So like on this one, so I know people were complaining about like, is the deadlift really even an issue? On this one, it's not an issue, but what it is it's an active recovery segment that you're gonna need.
Oh.
And you're still, the other thing that as you're actively recovering, because it's not overly heavy, but you're still on the grip the whole time.
Yes. Oh, your grip is trashed.
Oh yeah.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
That's right.
Will's question, do you think they tested the events more after they released them, and that's why the standards are hand over hand in Ring Complex?
I hope that's not the case.
They did not.
This was something that bothered me. When we saw that there were different standards for events, for movements, as you went from one regional to the next, or one semi to the next semi to the next semi. It seemed like they were putting emphasis on things that went wrong on the weekend before, and they're definitely going to fix it in this weekend. Whereas things that should have been thought about from the very beginning. You know what I mean?
Yes. And that, I believe that was part of why they were so vague going into week one, in case they needed to modify things for the other weeks.
I'm sorry, dude. If that's the case, then they did not test enough, and they did not know what they wrote. You don't write vague anything when you have. This is our top qualifier to get to the games. Can't have any vague. Nothing.
Did Brian bring this up on Tuesday? Or someone, not me, brought this up, and I thought it was a very, very good point, is that most of the people they would have testing these events have qualified for semifinals.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, I get it.
And so, who could they pull from that just missed semifinals? Are they a good pool to test with, or older games athletes who have retired? That's a good one. You know, you've always seen like Dan Bailey and Sean Sweeney in there. Those guys are still super fit and
totally
fit.
And they'll do just fine.
But
that wasn't the issue of what we had here. It was a standardization issue, not a how are you going to test these things or who is going to test them. I mean, you can still have great athletes test these events.
True.
That are not in semis, whether they didn't want to go, whether they're, you could have some of these guys, some of the masters in there testing some of the things. I mean, you could have, there are people that you can get some numbers.
5 years ago.
Right. There are people that you can get out there that have the ability to do decent in these tests. But that wasn't what the issue was. The issue, I thought, was not a matter of, what was the capacity set up or what would the timeframes be. It was, what was the standardization of this movement or that movement or this, whatever. So,
okay.
But that's a great point though.
Dumbbell Linda
Linda
in 60s, just all the way through.
There you go.
Okay.
Bitches.
Golly. All right. So here's mine. It is Linda, but it's odd object Linda. So on the deadlifts, I have kettlebells at 150 and 106. On the bench press, didn't change a thing. Dumbbells at 90s and 60s. On the squat cleans, I gave him a strongman bag at 125 and 100. I was thinking 150 and 125, but I feel like that would have been a little excessive and would have slowed people down a little too much, and I wanted to be able to push the pace. So kettlebell deadlifts at 150 and 106. Dumbbell bench at 90 and 60, sandbag squat cleans at 125 and 100 have to be over the shoulder to receive the bag as they do it, and then stand up and do a little arm out to show control at the top.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. I was go touch and go, but it's a risk reward scenario. And right. I wanted a total odd object test.
That's cool. I had an original kettlebell deadlift to start, and I was looking at the 150s and ones. I had that set up too, and then I was like, yeah, but okay, but what do I want to do for the squat clean? I like that where you do it that way.
Yeah,
I like that.
And so
wrote that oddly, Linda. Stefan.
Odd Linda. Socially awkward Linda. Okay, now here's where I'm curious what you're going to do. The one that I have no idea what you're gonna do, because the other ones I'm like, okay, I could see event 1, 2, and 3. I'm like, okay, yeah, that totally, I get it, yeah. And this one, maybe it's because of what mine is. Maybe I'm projecting 4 and 5.
Okay.
Or however you put them together.
This is event 4. The time frames will be set. Event 4. That's right. The time frames will be set up the same way. Between 4, the break in between, and then 5. So the way 4 is going to be set up is as the run in the original 4 meant nothing. And then we just got to see some heavy weights. What I wanted to do, and one of the things we were talking about was we didn't see enough strong leg stamina involved anywhere. I still think that without taking away from the squat setup, what I decided to do was you had 6 minutes to do heavy squat Isabel.
Oh.
225, 155.
Okay.
30 reps. So you either get 30 reps done, and that's your time. You get extra rest. Or you get whatever your time is, or whatever the reps are that you got in that 6 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have a
tiebreaker?
On that one, the tiebreaker, is going to be the time that you get, or the rep that you get.
What if? I'm saying tiebreaker as in, like, what if everybody ties at 20 reps?
If everybody ties at 20 reps,
I have a suggestion.
First to 10.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with that. I like that. Yeah.
It's like, hey, I may not finish, but I got to get these 10 done.
Got to get these 10.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so
squat. They must be squat, snatch.
Squat, snatch, Isabel at 225 and 95. 6-minute cap. Tiebreaker.
First 10.
What did I say?
You said 95.
Oh.
225 and 95.
Whoa, wow. Yeah, no, not at all. 225.
We got
and 155.
We got odd Linda and overweight Isabel.
Awkward Linda and morbidly obese Isabel.
Yeah, but I was excited about that.
Here's your time to get to 10 reps.
To get to 10.
I like it. All right.
Do I do my 5 or do I just go?
Do it, yeah.
Okay. So then you have your 2-minute rest.
With each other?
Huh?
Do they work with each other?
Yeah, totally. Well, it's same kind of time frame because you have your 6, 2-minute, and then 6.
Let's see it.
So your 5 is going to be. Are you laughing?
You guys start putting your event names in here. We'll pull them up. Event 4, chronic disease Isabel. Thank you, Will.
Okay, so I did like the version that they had. The what was it? 8? Was it 8 snatches?
8 snatches at 185 and 120.
8, yeah. So 8, and then the 800 meters. Which really came down that the snatch didn't have enough effect on what that was. And since we already had all of our machines in the beginning, I didn't want to put another machine in there. So my choice would be to do some sort of a run around the field, but again, that would kind of change what you're doing as far as the layout goes. And so I as much as I would like to have a run around, I didn't do that. So I had kind of 2 options that I was going back and forth on. One was I was going to up the number of snatches and then go into a shuttle sprint after that, where you could actually see people go back and forth.
Okay.
But what I broke that down to, or what I changed that to, was I was going to do 3 rounds of 6 snatch at 185 and what did they have? 135, 125?
125.
125. So 185, 125. And 6 shuttle sprints in between there. Ooh. So you go 6 snatch, 6 shuttle sprints. 6 snatch, 6 shuttle sprints, 6 snatch, 6 shuttle finish in the 6-minute time frame.
Okay.
And that's your race.
Yeah, Stefan, I'm not putting that one up there. I like it. Okay. So
I wanted to be able to see the. So no, those ones squat clean Isabel for 4.
Snatch.
Squat. Yeah. Squat snatch. Well, that's squat Isabel. Yeah. For 4, and then the 3 rounds of 6 snatch and shuttle sprint for 5.
Okay. I like it. That squat and snatch, Isabel. Oh.
We need some squatting, right? That's what we needed.
Yes, that's right. So here's what I put in there. Test 4A, 6-minute cap. Now, I put the runners in here because looking at the field of play, well,
fuck them.
Different now. I put the runners in here, trying to do less. All right. I would have loved a shuttle run, but it's 4-time, 800-meter run, 10 squat snatches at 225 and 155. Rest 3 minutes into 4-time, 10 squat snatches at 225 and 155 into an 800-meter run. Your score is your total combined time for both, and it's only worth one 100-point event. So it's a little bit of column A, a little bit like how well do you cycle a bar at heavy weight under fatigue after a run, and it's all for time. So your run now matters, but also your ability to move weight matters. Into how well can you recover, go right back into the weight, and have enough for the run on the back end. So it's combined one complete event. 800, 10 snatches at 225, 155. Rest 3 minutes, so more time to recover, which isn't necessarily a bonus.
Right, seriously.
Into 10 snatches, same weight, same rules, into an 800-meter run, but it's your total combined time. And what I would love to have, and this is things that I think we can do, is having digital boards in front of everything, and everyone's times are on display after the first round. It's like, shit, I'm 20 seconds behind him. 13 seconds ahead of her, right? And in 3 minutes, we can all get this on a board. Just a digital from your cell phone. There's apps for this. There's timers they sell that are in our partner network for affiliates that connect to your phone, and you can put in numbers on a digital board right there, not flipping these little cards that we used to for in basketball when I was 8 years old. And so now going into it, it's like, if I need to beat this person, like I'm behind by 20 seconds. What do I do?
Why make it and I'm just asking, why make it a part A and a part B when it's just like 2 rounds for time? You just add your time.
Because I flipped the order. So okay.
I got you.
It would be like a chipper.
Okay. I got it.
It'd be kind of like mile run with your Isabel.
I hear you. Okay.
So that's what is this?
Your 4AB.
Chase's event is called Run and Shit. And the reason why I picked these weights is because they made the masters do it.
Right.
4 reps already. And it's just 10. I was going back and forth with was just making it snatches anyway.
Oh, I see what you're saying. For your 10, you can do squat or you can do power or whatever. Yeah.
It's like if you're strong, powerful, and conditioned and you just rip on the bar. Whereas like making it squat it's kind of like putting those brakes in the overhead squats in the chipper.
Yeah.
Like it neutralizes someone's ability. Like touch and going power snatches, people can do this. Touch and going 225 or 155, much easier to do with power snatches than it is with squat snatches. So I went back and forth there.
I like the idea of the squat. Okay. The other thing, it makes it very...
And we're bringing the leg stuff back in that we didn't previously, so...
Right. A missed rep because you don't either one hit squat or you don't stand up all the way. That is an expensive rep. And so it's going to make people really... Like they got to ride that line. They got to ride that line for sure. I like that.
I think this is a delicate event.
Very.
You have to thread that needle perfectly. And like if I'm a good runner and I can run 30 seconds faster casually, like that 30 seconds is valuable in 10.
Yeah.
225, 155. Everybody should be able to do this, and not you don't belong at the games. How did you get here?
Right.
How about that? How did you get here if you can't snatch this weight 4 reps? You did this shit in the open in 2017. Like,
right. I like that.
Thank you. But it's just one event. So not 200 points and like slap 2 specialists on the butt. It's like you got to be, and this is it. Like you have to be great at both to win this event. Because you could be the strongest person in the world, but after an 800-meter run and 20 squat snatches, what is your next 800 going to look like? So, just one.
That's good. I like it.
All right. You, sir, are on event 6.
I'm on event 6. I think that one is the one that I really didn't change much of the event. For the hashtag there fix it, I just took out the row. Simply just took out the row. I kept all the other numbers as they were. I did leave the 20 overhead squats that you didn't have to break it up. You didn't have to drop the bar and move it. Maybe if you had to move, fine, but that was your choice if you wanted to kind of keep it up overhead or whatever. I think that is an important piece of this event, and to take that away from people is wrong. I think so. I would just write it as 20 overhead squats, 3 handstand walk pirouettes, 2 seated legless rope climbs, 20 chest on the chest wall facing handstand push-ups, chest to wall, and then back and then back the same way. And I think that I think you would now see even a more dramatic effect on that second set of overhead squats, one, and then also that opening pirouette handstand, because you don't have 2 minutes of rest on the row.
Okay.
And I think that would just that would have made, and then I don't even think you even need to change any of the other elements of the event, the rope climbs or the handstand push-ups. I think all of the things would do exactly what they need to do.
Break.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, you're taking 4 minutes of work out of it, of rest out of it.
The active recovery.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that thinking. Because I know we talked yesterday about bumping up maybe the numbers, but if you do, like, you're right. If you take the row out, you're coming off those overhead squats. Most everybody is getting pushed to do it unbroken.
Right.
Which is not easy to do, even at that weight. And then right into a, yeah. Okay.
I think that'd be sweet.
That would be sweet. That would be sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
I did a little more here. Okay. First off, I changed all the overhead squats to thrusters.
Because you want some squatting. Oh, why'd you go thrusters?
Because I did the squat snatches previously.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Now everybody roll with me here. 30 thrusters with short C70 bars, which fit in all the lanes at 125 and 85, and you advance every 10, Mr. Storytellers. And then you get to your jump rope and you do 30 double crossovers. Why? Because everybody can do them now, and if not, you don't, like, you haven't been working on what you were supposed to work on, what we saw at the games. And I still kept the monostructural piece in there. But it has a much greater effect on the rest of the test. Kept the 3 handstand walk pirouettes, added a rep on the seated rope climb, added 10 reps in the wall facing handstand push-ups. So 30 thrusters at 125 and 85. I think that rep and that weight is just on the fringe with an advancement of 10. You don't have to put it down. That will bait people, not necessarily in the front half, but back half. All right. 30 thrusters, 125 and 85, 30 double cross unders, whatever's double, whatever. Fuck. 30 of those things from the games last year. 3 handstand walk pirouettes, 3 seated legless rope climbs, 30 wall facing handstand push-ups, 3, 30, 30, done. And I wanted to put more squatting in there. I wanted to put more interference with the press and the pull. It's just a high skill, high intensity, high volume work capacity gymnastics test. And so in event 1, endurance, some strength. In event 2, high skill gymnastics and capacity. Event 3, odd object strength test. Event 4, power output and speed. And then here, the gymnast can go crazy, but you can't do it without a shitload of fitness on the back end of it. They get theirs.
I think there would be people just getting crushed on the Legos rope climbs.
I agree.
Crushed.
Yeah, I agree.
That second set. So like it was, and what I was saying before you went and you started going through all the different events right there, you said the talking about the intensity being up, and I was like, I don't know if the intensity would be up on this one, especially on the back half of this event.
You think 20s and 2 all around?
I think
20, 30, 3, 2. What do you think?
I think if you keep the 222 in there, I think that like that was.
You think the stuff before will be fine with this number?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Because there were way more people. I mean, dude, there were a lot of people that really slowed down.
Here we go. 30 thrusters, 30 double unders, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah.
Done.
OCD, done.
OCD, check. But man, I just want to see the panic of people on the second set of crossovers, and then just that have to on those last 30. Watching people advance to the next 10, into the next 10, and go to the next 10. Like, yeah.
I agree.
And I just wanted some more leg capacity and stamina. Like I just did the strength. And
yeah, I like.
Okay. Your final.
I'm not touching it.
At all.
I'm just going to leave it as is.
Good for you.
I'm just going to leave it as is.
Good for you.
Because of all the tests that were set out there, that was the one that I think the design, the intent, the result, the race, the story of all the events that were there, that was the best one.
I agree.
And I didn't want to touch it.
Maybe I'm just a little bit more handsy this go around, but I touched it.
Well, I mean, there was part of me that wanted to change. Okay, like I obviously with the Echo bike in there. I mean, I was thinking about it, but I'm like, I mean, whatever. Fuck it. I like the event. I would just be like, I would be the chef that just starts putting way too many. It needs a little of these, and I'll put a little of this spice and a little bit of this spice, and a little bit of this spice and a little bit of that spice. And then all of a sudden, it's totally different. So I'm going to leave it as is.
Okay. I didn't do too much different. I just switched the 20 toes to bar to 25 chest to bar pull-ups.
Okay.
And then I made the bag a Husafel bag because I used the strongman bag for Linda.
Oh, I see.
And I wanted to bring in a little homage from the games, that little carry that you can't really wrap your hands around. Also, one thing that I was thinking about is when you drop it and you turn around for your next one, you have to either pick it up and then turn around because of the way it's shaped, or you have to flip it back the other way to get on the other side to carry it. You can only carry it one way. Does that make sense? Because it's like this little diamond. So if I throw it forward and I ran this way, when I come back around, it's now facing me. So I have to like pick it up and flip it over again, or pick it up, turn around 180 degrees and then run again.
Let me ask you. I mean, I like what you did with using that bag since you put the other bag in the Linda part. Do you feel that you lose the grip element because of the way that it tapers down, where you could actually now your smaller athletes have just as much of an advantage because they can get their hands all the way around to lock that? What if you put the Hosefeld bag at Linda and brought the strongman bag here?
Because it is wider than the bag. Like the bags that they use for these things, like if you watch the games, like people couldn't get their hands around as easy as a strongman bag.
Okay.
I believe it's a little wider, which is why I did bring this in, because I was thinking about that.
Okay.
Like it's not going to help the grip.
Okay. I know the top part is. I just thought because of that.
Yeah, it tapers down, but where you have to hold it, because like you could hold it lower, but the bag would just flip over. Like you have to hold it high.
Okay.
And it sits like in your elbow crease, and there's not a really like round place to go. It's like I think it's worse, actually. And I put chest to bar because toes to bar were slow. There wasn't really butterfly pull-ups are butterfly pull-ups. I know there's not a speed on in there, but I felt like that would give the gymnasts a little leg up that they didn't get on the bike. Plus, and I thought it would look cooler.
Okay.
That's all. 5 more reps, chest to bar pull-ups. They're easier than toes to bar. Like toes to bar are really compounding because they're just slower. They take more time. I don't think it changed the time frame or really anything. I just wanted to see more pulling.
I got that. Okay.
So, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah.
Go through your whole thing and like your mix and match and your your outlook.
Let me get, and I'll write all this down for us so we can get it put up for the programmatron is. Okay, so for the first event, I did it as written. I just changed the sled and I made it to where it was a straight pull, not no turnaround on that. Whatever the sled is, it could just be one of the metal plate sleds. It doesn't have to be a big old dog sled or anything like that. The second one, no ruck bag. They must be unbroken complexes. I keep the number the same for the 5. The pistols, you have to do 10 unbroken on one leg, 10 unbroken on the other leg. And I would also make it that if you came down during that 10, you had to redo that 10. So it was a true 10 and 10 unbroken. And then you had a max burpee box jump over, but I was going to raise the height of the box, basically 4 inches on each one.
So 34 and 28?
34 and 28.
Okay.
That's what that would be. For Linda, it's dumbbell Linda all the way through. So same dumbbell, all the movements, all the way down. There, fixed it. For 4, I have heavy squat Isabel. So you have 6 minutes to get 30 reps. Once you get 30, then you rest. Or if you don't finish, then you have your time is whatever your time is. The tiebreaker is to the first 10. Mm-hmm. So that's how we break that. You have a 2-minute break, and then you go into event 5, which is 3 rounds of 6 snatches at 185 and 135, 125. 185, 125. Was it?
That's what the snatches were, unless you want to.
Yeah. No, I want to leave it what it is. Well, I'll go 135 because that's what it's supposed to be. 185, 135. 6 snatches, 6 shuttle sprint laps, and you do that 3 times. Then we go over to event 6, and I left it as is, except I took the 500-meter row out on both ends, kept all the numbers the same. There was not a mandatory break at the 10 mark for the overhead squat. So maybe you had to move from one spot to another spot, but you can keep engaged and keep doing the lift the whole time if you wanted to do that. And then the last one I left as is.
Nice.
Deep dap doop.
Deep dap doop. I like it. On mine, I did all the Concept 2 machines. So same format. I just made the meters cals. So 125 cal Concept 2 bike, 84-foot sled pull. I put in the torque tank to offset, getting rid of the ruck later as kind of a partnership deal, but also a uniform pull. I made all the pulls hand over hand specifically. No reaching and pulling. It had to be hand over hand. 100 cal Concept 2 row, 84-foot sled pull, 75 cal ski, 84-foot sled pull. And if that resistance thing is real, as one person was talking about earlier, then yeah, don't worry about the weight. I guess it's all the same. I don't know officially.
There you go.
Event 2, 3 rounds, 3 on, 1 off, same thing. 7 unbroken ring complexes. We're removing the ruck. Each complex must be unbroken, as you did. into 30 pistols, 10 on one leg, 10 on the other, unbroken, or start over, and then move forward to 5 and 5. And then max burpee box jump overs at 24 and 30 inches. Your time will stop once you reach 50, or if you do not complete 50 in the 3 sets, the total reps you did, which will include every rep that is done, will be your score. Event 3, odd object Linda, 10 down to 1, kettlebell deadlifts at 150 and 106, dumbbell bench at 90 and 60, and then sandbag squat cleans at 125 and 100. Event 4, a 6-minute clock, 800-meter run, 10 squat snatches at 225 and 155 for time. After the 6-minute cap, you have a 3-minute break, and you'll start part B, which is 10 squat snatches at the same weight, followed by an 800-meter run. Your score is just one score, and it's your total combined time of 4A and 4B. Event 5, 30 thrusters at 125 and 85, 30 double crossovers, 3 handstand walk pirouettes, 2 legless rope climbs from the seated position, 20 wall-facing handstand push-ups, and then work your way back up the list. The big thing I changed there was overhead squats to thrusters and the row to crossovers. I left the middle as is. Weight, again, 125 and 85. Advance the thrusters every 10 reps. Final event, didn't change much. Same echo bike, 3 rounds for time, 15 and 10. Change the 20 toes to bar to 25 chest to bar pull-ups and the sandbag into a Husafel bag. Other than that, left it pretty much alone. The big things I was trying to do there is some of the things that we were missing is trying to make a more uniform sled pull, make it actually hand over hand. Added some reps on the pistols to add more squats to the overall test, squat snatches, again, more legs, and then the thrusters, right? The thrusters having more of an impact on the leg drive. Like doing 20 thrusters at 185 is so much harder than 20 overhead squats at 185.
Oh my God. Yeah, they don't. To me, they're not even the same.
It's not even the same. Like,
okay, but we are both good at overhead squats.
True, but that's because of positioning, not our legs.
100%. That because I'm in that better position and I'm allowed to lean forward a little bit more, it makes that squat much easier than when I have to do a thruster and be really upright and I'm holding the weight in my wrist rather than like locking it in over my shoulder. It's amazing how much different that feels.
And I never am worried about my legs fatiguing, right? And what you saw people like that were failing over at squats maybe at semifinals because they couldn't stabilize it with their arms anymore.
Right.
And so now I'm pouring a lot into the leg and the press to hit the overhead squats. Actually, that's a question I had for you is like, I don't know what it is about an overhead squat, but rarely is it my legs that are causing any of the problems of me doing that movement. Rarely. Maybe if it's like 75 pounds for 100 reps because my legs are hurting. But as it gets heavier, like the legs,
the shoulders will go.
All shoulders.
Yeah, and I have good stability in my shoulders for an overhead squat. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's not usually where I end up failing out is going to be at the legs at all. Actually, the other thing that really what I like with the thruster is, man, the way that it just jacks your heart rate.
Yeah.
So like an overhead squat, there's a line, especially with any sort of weight, there's a line you walk that's not too crazy because you have to be able to stabilize that whole time. There's that balance effect. But with a thruster, you don't have to be as nice and as pretty. So you can kind of get a little reckless with it.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted.
That definitely has the race for sure. Yeah.
This squat is like, okay, it's like, hey, Bill, you can either do 20 reps at 185 or I'm going to drop it 60 pounds and you do 30 reps. You're like, sure, shit, yeah, no problem. Yeah. It's like, but it's thrusters. Like, fuck that. Right? Isn't that wild?
Totally.
60 pounds for a 10 rep difference, but you change it from overhead squats to. That's what I wanted. I wanted I wanted every piece of that event to matter.
Yeah.
Like how you handle those thrusters. And there's still an element of execution. Should you break up your first set of thrusters? How well is your positioning? Right? If you have a trash rack position, your forearms and your shoulders are going to be garbage. If you have a great rack position, everything's chill. I know we have discussion in the chat as like, it messes up your shoulders so bad. It's like, yeah, if you have bad positioning and bad timing.
Yeah, totally.
I get it. It will always fatigue your shoulders, and it's supposed to. That's why it's a squat and a press into pressing and pulling gymnastics as we have. I wanted that to be a problem. But if you have poor execution and poor mobility and positioning, yeah, your shoulders are going to get screwed way more, and then you're screwed on the back end, right? So and I was kind of thinking about Boz a little bit too, and how it's like really execution based a lot of the times with some of these bottleneck tests and limiting factors of certain key elements. I don't think we lost anything switching it to that.
No.
And then, as you said, overhead squats, they just kind of go away after a while, and there's really like you're just kind of at the mercy of fatigue. Whereas like that race at the end, if you're next to somebody with thrusters that people can do, and it's just like it brings in an element of like that nasty grittiness finish.
Yeah.
That we used to have in some events.
Yeah. Whenever you have an overhead squat, the push is you push to failure.
Mm-hmm.
Thruster is you push to the pain threshold. And
right.
I mean, you're not going to fail a thruster. Like these guys aren't going to fail on that weight on a thruster.
Not at these weights.
It's just now because of that, it's like, how bad do you want to hurt? Like, how bad do you want to hurt? Because you can do them. You can do all of these. So are you going to do it? The other one, like with overhead squats, you'll drop it, and you're like, well, it failed. That was it. We've seen that. We saw that in Wadapalooza when they did the squat, to the back squat, the front squat, the overhead squat. Wasn't the back squat, it wasn't the front squat. It was how hard do you want to push the overhead squat?
Right.
And the people that lost were the ones that failed it.
Yeah. And like when you look at Justin Medeiros finish this event, or like Noah Olson's like counting out his last 10 overhead squats, he's just chilling. I'm like, that shit ain't never happening with thrusters.
Right.
Ever. Now both tax the shoulders, and the overhead squats are in there to blow up the shoulders. Like that's what they do. That's what we're saying. But we're saying is like we needed some like nastiness and some legs in there. So
there you go.
God, it's like when I get my shoulder back. I kind of want to try this, but I really don't want to try this.
With the overheads or with the thruster?
Oh, with the thrusters.
You can fucking have it. that right there's it.
That's why I'm saying it, because I would love to do event 6 as it's written now.
Right.
Overhead squats, chill on the row, do some gymnastics, chill on the row again, and do some overhead. Yeah, great. Sign me up. I don't want to do what I just did there. But I do like you pulling me back on the volume there. That was a good point.
I think it keeps the intensity in the race that you're looking for.
For sure.
It keeps that grit. So,
but I think it also balances it out a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Event 6 is just gymnastics. That's it.
Right.
Like how good is your overhead squat positioning? Like this is 60 thrusters.
Dude, ow.
And I wanted that skill element from the rope in there. Took one machine out of the equation. Like I was trying to limit the test of having just like all machine work, 5 of the 7. So, all right. What did he say? Steven, do you think the games will be very squat heavy like 2018?
Nope.
I mean,
nope.
Maybe he's saving it all for the games.
Nope.
All right. I got a question for you before we bounce. What would be your thoughts if he is in Boz basically brought in everything that he didn't do for the open quarters and semis and hit all the athletes with it at the games versus okay, let me rephrase this. Would you rather him flip everything that we've seen trend wise, open quarters and semis at the games this year, or would you rather see him continue what he was doing at the games this year? Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
I think I do.
Would you rather him?
I would not.
You guys all got through my test, and now I'm going to completely change it on you. Or, okay, you're the group that got through all these tests, and now we're just going to test you at a bigger level of what we've already been doing.
To tell you the truth, when I look at what the games was last year, and then I look at what we've had for the Open, the quarters, and the semis, I think he has a particular paintbrush that he paints with. And I think it's going to look very similar to what we've seen. I don't think he's going to go, okay, you guys have all gotten in it. We're going to swap it all up and we're going to change it to, games events from before type of thing. I just don't see that happening. I see him running in this vein. I think that we'll see an endurance and a heavy lift. I think that we'll see that element, because if you look at the things that he's done, there's a lot of events that, this semis was a lot of that. The first event, it was endurance with heavy pull. And then you have your run and your heavy lift, your lift into your run. So here we are running and lifting and running and lifting and running and pulling and endurance and pulling and like a monostructural and a weightlifting, and then high skill gymnastic-y things. I don't think that that's going to change. I don't think that it will. What I hope is that my hope is that the elements that we have make sense being put together. That it isn't a, hey, you over there come up with a workout, and you over there come up with another one, and you over here, here's something more, you come up over here, to where everyone's programming, where it appears that it's done in a vacuum.
Got it.
It should be a thread of events that runs through where you're able to hit all of the things that you need to hit, all of the elements of fitness that we're looking for, as we are trying to find the fittest, by our definition, athlete out there. That's what we want to hit. Not someone that is really good at crossover triple unders, because that's what we're going to see if you can do these. I don't think that that's testing what we need to test. Not that because we have a lot of events, we could have some wild cards in there, but we want to know that these athletes can do all of the things that we want to see. They should be good at all 10 of the physical traits.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. No, they should be the best at all 10 of the physical traits.
Yeah, that's good.
Then you have the fittest athlete by CrossFit's definition in the world. That's what I hope. But
I have to look back and put all these three together and see. I mean, obviously we know who's qualified, but like, what has been the sifting?
The saving grace is that, generally speaking, our top athletes are going to make it through.
Right.
Now, what athletes get there and where that line gets dropped is always going to be, no matter how we do it, there's always going to be someone on one person on the line and someone on another person. Yeah, I agree. I think I don't disagree with this statement that JR has up there. I think that we will need a couple years of figuring out the vein that he runs in.
Slack line.
Maybe. Fuck.
No, God.
What do you think?
I feel like the question is, would I rather have a better overall test programmed, regardless of who qualified, or programming that fits who you qualified and then test that group out of them?
I think that regardless of who gets there, the test should be the test.
I agree.
That's what I think.
I mean, it came up. What was the year where it was like the no barbell semifinals or regionals?
That was 2017. 17.
Was it 2017?
Something like that. 16, 17. Yeah.
But I remember there was no barbell, on purpose, intentional. And the concern was all of these gymnasts and not strong people qualify for the CrossFit Games. And then this heavy, robust, aerobically intense endurance skill test is laid out, and half the people, right? And it's never the top half in the field that qualify. will have any issues going in. So for example, like whatever we say about the programming now, the top 5 in every semifinal, we're going to go regardless for the most part. But that's not how we judge programming. It'd be like saying, and we've said this ever since this podcast have started, it's like to judge programming based off who won is irresponsible. Matt Fraser, Rich Froning, and Tia Toomey would have won no matter what was programmed, barring you guys being fucking idiots and saying everything was a swim event. All right. Something, right? But just because it doesn't matter what was programmed for those athletes does not mean the programming doesn't matter. We'll say that until we're blue in the face.
Right.
And so at these semifinals, your best athletes, the fittest athletes there, which is who we're trying to find, are going to advance. It's those fringe ones where the programming 100% matters. 100% matters. And so that we saw that in 2017. People got to the games, they're like, oh, never before. It's like, yeah. I would have loved to them never put a barbell in any regional I ever went to. That would have been great. That would have been great. But I'm with you is that regardless of maybe how we got people there, the games should be just a lock ironclad beautiful test of fitness to find the fittest people in the world. So I guess I'm in camp of I don't really care what we did in open quarters and semis as long as the game's is a wonderful test of fitness.
Yeah, but that's a very but that's a hard word to use because it's vague. It's like saying
test of fitness.
Well, I mean, technically, yeah, we should be saying it's balance, and
that's what I mean, right?
Here we have someone that's in Boz that knows the ethos of CrossFit as well as anybody in CrossFit.
Yes, 100%.
So I'm sure if he was to look at the events that he programmed last year, he was like, that was a beautiful test, a well-rounded, very balanced test of all the things. We have gymnastic movements in there. We have balance. We have accuracy. We have coordination. We have strength. We have stamina. We have power. We have all the things. So why wasn't that one of the best events ever? Why doesn't that fit with the things that we're doing? Like that's what I mean. Like it's hard. I think that you can check boxes and that's fine. But there's a vein that we're looking at right now. And I think that we are still trying to learn what the vein is. And I mean, you're right. I'm hoping that, whoever we get to the games, I hope that they have a great games experience. And I hope that that we have a great test that's able to showcase these athletes and really test them to the point to we can see, all right, who is the fittest?
Yeah.
But up to this point, the roadmap to get here has been very different. It has been from what I've seen, it's been very lopsided, So I'm bummed out about that, which makes me think that the games will be lopsided also. I don't want that to be the case.
Sam, this is actually I don't know how intentional you are with making this point, but it's a very good one. Is that you have CrossFit, the training methodology, and CrossFit general GPP or GPP programming in the affiliate to make people fit. And then you have CrossFit, the sport. Those programming and designs are not necessarily hand in hand. So for example, I was talking to JR about this last night and it got put in the chat. And he's like, what about strict ring muscle ups? I was like, absolutely not. Or L pull-ups. I was like, absolutely not. You can't program these things in a sport with judging, right? It's like, yes, in my affiliate, it's like, all right, guess what, Bill? We're going to do L pull up.
Let me tell you the workout that we did because it's going to fit your point.
Okay.
This is the workout that we did today. So Thursdays we usually do like a technique kind of day or something that's like a little lighter. Today happened to be a long one, and we did a 32-minute EMOM.
Mm-hmm.
First minute was 30 seconds of skin the cat.
Ooh, okay.
The second one was 30 seconds of L-sit, accumulated L-sit on box. We had our box out. You kind of post up on the boxes.
Okay.
The fourth one was 30 seconds of holding your 1 rep max back squat, just in a standard hold. 30 seconds.
What was the third one?
Back rack.
Oh,
1 rep max, back squat, weight, back rack,
oh.
stand there for 30 seconds.
Standing
Put
for
on your
30
back.
seconds?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the last one was 30 seconds of handstand walk.
Okay.
And so we did that for 8 times. That's all good training for just general fitness stuff. That is not a competitive event at all. And so there are elements that you put in your training for your general class to help progress them through skills, to help them learn skills, to help them gain certain strengths in different areas. But that's not a race event.
Right.
And that's the difference between GPP programming in your gym, the methodology of CrossFit that you can still use to become a great CrossFitter and still compete in CrossFit. But that is not the competitive race in CrossFit. Not the competitive training. You can use that for competitive training, but it's not the competitive event in CrossFit.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah. And there's certain movements and formats that just don't work in a competitive sport setting. It's a lot of times the difference between training and testing as well. Here's a great workout. It's like 20 Turkish get-ups with 53 and 35 pound kettlebell into 20 strict L pull-ups, followed by something else. It's like, all these are great training day. Make it an AMRAP in 20 minutes, or say it's whatever. That would be a horrific event to put in a sport or competitive setting. And you can have the most institutional knowledge and experience in the world in the training element of CrossFit. But you got to understand is like, and I'm not projecting this on anybody, I'm just being matter-of-factly, there's things that happen there that are the most beautiful part of the CrossFit training methodology that do not translate or work in the sport. And that's why they are so different. Right. Just because they have CrossFit before the name of them, the CrossFit Games, and just CrossFit training methodology, or, it's not the same. And separating what is a great, I would say, test of fitness in your affiliate or training session does not mean it's a good or appropriate test for the fittest on the competition floor.
Yeah.
Great question, Sam, or statement. You nailed it.
Sweet.
That was great, guys. Great. All right, dude. Good times.
That was good times.
That was fun. As always.
It's always fun. It's always fun. I mean, I have to say, we are good at programming, but we're really good at armchair quarterback programming too. When someone sets up the program for you and you just have to go back and like tweak it up. I want someone to do the dumbbell. Yeah, do that one.
Corbin Dallas Multipass. It's one of my favorite movies. But
it's very cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right.
All right, team. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you as always. If you guys want to see what we programmed all in one place, go to patreon.com, sign up, $6 a month, /give the programming. You won't even notice it until you get an email from me that says, hey,
here's a workout.
And you can see we've got
can't listen to it though because Bill has strikes from YouTube on there, so it's
yeah. It's in there. Now you only miss like 20 seconds of muted songs from Bill. You'll still get to see him. But appreciate you guys interacting with us. We appreciate your pushback. We appreciate your feedback. But most of all, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday. We good?
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. We still have to do some journals.
Yeah. Time to bring back the journal.
Can do it. Oh,
what?
We need to bring back the. I don't think we did the month.
Oh shit.
We got to bring that back.
Are we 2 months behind?
I think so.
Oh.
May was tough.
May.
And then we got to do June because June just started.
Yep. All right. And then we got our trophy case challenges. We need to start.
That's right.
Tacking on again. All right, gang. Happy Thursday. Have a great weekend. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.